Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today is our third session in a series of 3 sessions on getting ready for U.S. study. The topic of our session today is transitioning and adjusting to college life in the U.S. We are very happy and excited to have 3 of our own students who are currently studying in the U.S. I want to welcome Mayssa, Huda, and Noor, and thank you for taking time during your very busy schedule with finals and other responsibilities to share your experience with our audience today. Welcome to the audience, wherever you're connecting with us from. I do want to share or ask my colleague Marwa to share some general information about the Education USA mission and a few brief remarks about our 5 steps to US study and how you can connect and learn more about studying in the US by joining and clicking to our Facebook pages and also websites that are relevant, including the 5 steps to US study. These are the topics that our guests will be covering: preparing to travel and dorm life, adjusting to culture shock, campus environment, support services offered to students, and communicating with professors, faculty, selecting courses, internships, and study abroad opportunities. We will conclude with a Q&A, so please feel free to add your questions as we progress through the presentation. Should questions arise, we will definitely have time at the end of today's session to answer those questions through our panelists. And of course, if there are any questions for Education USA, Marwa and I will be happy to answer those. Please keep your mics muted and your cameras off so that our connection will continue to be stable. And we look forward to great questions from you. I will hand it off to Marwa, who will share some information about Education USA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sana. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session. So I would like to talk to you briefly about Education USA and the services that we offer. Education USA is the U.S. Department of State network. There are over 430 advising centers in 175 countries and territories. Of course, our mission is to work with students and basically anyone who is interested in studying in the United States, whether it's for the undergraduate level, graduate level, or shorter degree programs. We are here to help you. Of course, our services include general information sessions, specific topic sessions. We visit different high schools and universities and colleges. We also have a chance, to welcome U.S. higher education representatives to the country to connect with students, counselors, and parents who are interested to learn more about the U.S. higher education system. Of course, we work closely with different, youth centers or American spaces, and we participate in different national educational and cultural events. And we usually have, virtual sessions and webinars, just like today's session. Of course, the Education USA website, which you can see on the screen, educationusa.state.gov, includes so much information about the 5 steps to U.S. study. There's also a section about U.S. scholarships offered by different universities and colleges that would like to share their information on our website. Also, through the Education USA website, you can find the events for the nearest Education USA Advising Center to you. The 5 steps on the screen that you see, we first have, step 1, research your options. It is very important for you to start looking for the different options or universities and colleges that you are interested in applying to. Of course, you need to identify the institutions that are the best fit based on your priorities and based on your needs. The second step is to understand how you will finance your studies. You need to know the total cost of attendance and which universities and colleges can offer scholarships and financial aid opportunities to you as an international student. The third step is to complete your application. Of course, different universities and colleges will ask you to submit different requirements as part of your application folder. And so you need to prepare yourself ahead of time for these requirements and be ready when the application deadline approaches. The fourth step is to apply for your student visa. Of course, after you receive an admission from a certain university and you accept the offer, you need to apply for your student visa. There are different steps that you need to take so you can actually have your visa ready before you travel. The fifth and final step is to prepare for your departure. Of course, you need to prepare yourself when you want to travel. There are some different communications that you need to do, for example, with your host institution, and some arrangements that you need to do before you travel. You can find detailed information about the 5 steps to a study on the Education USA website, and the information is divided according to the level of study that you are interested in, like undergraduate study or a graduate study, or maybe English as a second language programs. So you will find detailed information on the Education USA website. Also, if you'd like to learn more about our upcoming events, you can follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, you can check out our Education USA West Bank YouTube channel, where we upload, recordings of previous sessions that we had, whether with alumni, current students, or university representatives on different topics also related to the US higher education system and the application process. Also, if you have any inquiries or would like to schedule maybe an individual consultation, or would like any resources or websites after today's session, please feel free to reach out to us through our email, which you can see on the screen, ramallah@educationusa.org. And for our guest speakers, Sana already introduced them. We have Mayssa Salame, Huda Hashash, and also Noor Abu Rabi. And first, we will start with Mayssa Salame.
Hi everyone, my name is Mayssa Salame. I'm currently a rising sophomore at Bridgewater College, and I'm majoring in business administration. Bridgewater College is a small private college in Bridgewater, Virginia. Approximately, there was 1,500 students enrolled this year, which is one of the main reasons why I chose Bridgewater, since I've always preferred small colleges where most students know each other and the number of students in classes are way more less than other colleges. Classes usually have an average size of 13 students. This means students have a lot of opportunities to get to know their professors and fellow students. Bridgewater also offered me a full scholarship through the Hope Fund program, and there are many international students currently attending Bridgewater, which helped me at the beginning of the year to overcome the cultural barrier. Marwa, can we go to the next slide? So preparing to travel, there are some documents that you must have to travel or to get to your college, including your passport, your F1 visa, your I-20, which is usually provided from your college once you're admitted, acceptance letter, and the vaccination card if the COVID vaccine is required by your college. And that's how it was for me. I had to get the 2 shots before I went, and next year I have to get the booster shot. Also, if you're still under 18, and that's how it also was for me when I went my freshman year, you have to sign a paper from your parents and show it at the US port of entry. Before going, I would suggest looking at the weather of the state you're going to. If the state's temperature is usually cold, then you must pack more winter clothing. And if it's usually hot, then I would suggest bringing less winter clothes. Make sure that you have a copy of your other documents on your laptop, just in case you might need them. If you have a regular medicine that you need to take, then you might need to take it from here. Also, just a heads up, college closets are usually really small, so don't pack a lot of clothes because you might not have enough space for all of them. When you get at the US port of entry, they will ask you to show your passport, your visa, and your I-20, and general questions about why you're entering the US and what university you're enrolled in. It's usually an easy process and you don't need to worry about it. Or can we go to the next slide? Orientation programs vary between universities and colleges, but the main goal is to help all freshman students engage with each other, make friends, and learn more about the campus. I know that due to COVID, some of these programs were online, but now they're mostly in person. During the orientation, students get information about many resources that are offered on campus, including academics. There are many resources that colleges and universities offer for students. For example, in Bridgewater, they have the Math Center, Writing Center, academic coaching if you're struggling with time management, and they also have tutoring if you need help with your classes. Health resources, universities usually have student health centers. They offer basic, regular health services. You also get to know more about the clubs that you can join. They can help you with your major. For me, I'm enrolled in 2 clubs, the CEO Club, which is for business, and the Model United Nations Club. They travel every 2 years to other states to attend conferences. Last semester, we traveled to New York to attend the MUN conference. At Bridgewater College, they also hold an international student orientation before the Welcome Week, which is for all incoming freshman international students. It was a great experience, and that's how I made most of my friends. It was also a great opportunity for me to ask any questions that I have before we start. There are also many events that are held during the year for international students. Marwa, can we skip to the next slide? Last fall, they had a carving pumpkins event for international students. During Welcome Week, we also got to know more about the campus and each building since it's a smaller campus. I also made great friends, and I had the opportunity to spend Thanksgiving with one of them, which gave me the chance to know more about their holiday and their culture. If we can skip to the next slide, please. As a first-year student, I did not get to pick where I live or who my roommate is the first year. So communication is really important between roommates about shared space and daily routines to avoid any misunderstandings. After the first year, you can usually pick where you want to live and with whoever you want. I lived in a co-ed building this year, which means each floor is divided. So if girls live on the first floor, then boys live on the second floor. Our building had a study lounge, TV lounge, and a shared kitchen at the basement. In the weekends, usually students hang out at the lounge area and watch movies. Laundry rooms are placed differently in each building. For me, was at the basement of my building with coin-free washers and dryers. I usually like to do my laundry during the week just because it gets really busy at the weekends. For food, I usually eat at our dining hall on campus. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Some of the things that they have daily, vegetables, salads, eggs, and they also have vegan options. We also have Smitty's Cafe. They usually have coffee, salads, and sandwiches. The college provides students each semester with 100 BC bucks on their IDs, and they can spend it there. There's also the option of cooking or eating outside, but students during the week, they don't have the time for that, so they prefer the dining hall. Every weekend, me and my friends used to go to the supermarket to buy snacks and fruits for the whole week, so this is also a good option. Finally, I would like to end with one final piece of advice for newly admitted students. I know that the first 2 weeks might be really hard on you in terms of being away from your family, friends, and even your country, and that's how it was for me. But don't give up, try to make new friends and adjust to your new environment. Honestly, once I did that, college started feeling like it's my home away from home. Also, don't ignore or deny your personal and academics problems. Problems will often get worse if they're not directly addressed. And procrastination in any of its forms can lead to a small problem getting much worse. So get help when you need it and speak to your professor, your advisor, or your parents. And I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. Huda?
Hey guys, I'm Huda. I'm a junior and I'm a double major, a biochemistry and a psychology major and a neuroscience concentration. And I go to Roanoke College, which is in Salem, Virginia. Next slide, Noor. So again, it's like in Salem, Virginia. It's a pretty small college. Currently, it has about 2,100 students. And one fun fact about it is that we have a lot of cool research opportunities. I'm currently doing research with analyzing pharmaceutical samples. So for example, you know how like we have Panadol at home. We're not sure if like it's actually Panadol and it's like supposed to have the right amount of stuff in it. So what I do is like I analyze those medications to see if they're actually the right medications or fake ones. We have a lot of fake ones apparently. And there's like zebrafish, there's like even neuroscience ones, everything's like really cool. And I chose this college again, just like Mayssa mentioned. It's a small college which like gives you a lot of opportunities to interact with your professors and have like really good close relationships with them, because that really helps in terms of if you're going to graduate school to the US later, then you need like good recommendation letters. You need to like actually know your professors on a personal level. It's also a very beautiful campus. I have a picture of Roanoke like over here. Again, I got a full scholarship. Who can says no to that? The research opportunities, and there's a lot of available resources and services on campus which are really helpful throughout my college career. So that's why I chose it. Next one. So we have a lot of support services again to students. We have like wellness and health ones, which include health services. I think Mayssa mentioned that there's like a health center in every single campus, I would say, in the US, where if you get sick, if you need a consultation, you could just go to them. They could, if it's a minor problem, they might just give you some medications, examine you. And if it's a bigger problem, then they're gonna probably refer you to some other physician in the US. And it's like really helpful. And we also have counseling services where you can make appointments. You could just like walk in, talk to them when you need, talk to them about anything. You could just like also make it a regular schedule. And we have something called Timely Care in my college, which is basically a telehealth website, and it's 24/7, which is like my favorite part, because whenever you need at any time of the day, you could just like consult someone. It could just like be for emotional support, if you're having a roommate conflict and you need someone to talk to, if you're feeling sick and you don't know what to do, then you just like talk to them and they contact the right people for you, so you don't have to deal with that pressure along with like being sick or tired. We also have a lot of academic resources, and these include academic coaching program, where if you're not really sure what you're doing in college, just like overall, and you need like someone to help you throughout your academics and like give you advice, then you could go to them. We also have academic advising, which we have advisors, they're faculty advisors, and you could talk to them basically about anything, like any single thing. If you also don't like your advisor, then you could just get a different one. That was my personal experience at the beginning. When I first came in, I had an advisor and he wasn't like really helpful, because he was like, oh, all of your grades are A's, then you could like register for classes by yourself. And I'm like, oh, I don't think it works that way. So I had to request a new advisor, and like I did get a new advisor, which was like really nice. So you don't get stuck with a bad advisor. And we also have Center for Learning and Teaching, and that's basically the tutoring services. If you need help with your homework, if you have an exam that you're finding stuff hard or study for, then you could like go to them. They help you throughout. And some other cool services on campus, there's something called The Place, which is basically their mission is to help you find purpose and like try to find your job and internship and like real world application. We also have the Multicultural Affair Office, which is basically for diversity, international students. They host programs for everyone, but it's like mostly directed at international students. We also have the Outdoor Adventures, where they plan programs to go outside, do stuff. I did a lot of things with the Multicultural Affairs and the Outdoor Adventures. Some really cool things I did was snowboarding. I did a lot of hiking with the Outdoor Adventures and the Multicultural Affairs one. We just like host a lot of programs for students, especially females, to like not feel alone, to like share their stories. And then we have the Bond program, which is directed at freshmen. So for upcoming freshmen, we usually like meet them. We have orientation, like especially for them if like they do need extra help or something. And we have like many more resources. Next slide, Marwa, please. Culture shock in campus environment. So is culture shock a thing? Even though we watch movies, we visit the US a couple of times. Yes, it is definitely a thing. I visited the US twice prior to coming to college, but I like came to the US and I still had a cultural shock, which is like okay. I think at the beginning, I like did face a lot of struggles because I'm a hijabi woman and a college where there's only one other hijabi woman, I do believe, and she's a commuter. So it was really hard for me to like adjust to the new culture. I like got a lot of questions, like people just asking, "Oh, why are you wearing this? Can you not take it off? Do you shower with your hijab on?" And at the beginning, I would like get offended sometimes by the questions, and then like as I got along, I was like, "Oh, like people actually did not know about this." So I became more accepting of the questions. I actually addressed the questions. I initiated conversations. We do talk about like religion. We share like our aspects. I'm like, oh, I'm like fasting today, and people are like, oh, not even water, not coffee. Can you just like drink coffee? And I'm like, no, I can't drink coffee. So it's okay to like discuss the things. And how did I adjust to that? I had to be aware of the cultural differences prior to arriving. So you're just gonna have to like understand how we have like our own culture and they have like their own culture and they're like completely different. So if you just like know these differences, if you're aware of them, if you understand that like it's okay to have differences, but you're just gonna have to address the parts of our culture to them and like explain why we do things. And then like if you have questions about like their culture, you could like ask, which is like totally okay. People do love to talk about their culture and religion here. Also get involved in some aspects of the culture. I think Mayssa briefly talked about that. She mentioned how like she went to a Thanksgiving dinner with like her friends and to get involved in like holidays, which I also do the same thing. I like give my friends Christmas gifts because they give me Eid gifts, and we like go out for Thanksgiving. We celebrate holidays together, and then I think also travel and see new locations. Do not isolate, go out, explore around so like you have some type of fun and talk to someone. If you need to talk to someone, do it. I think that was my mistake my freshman year. When I first arrived here, I did not talk to a lot of people. Like my life consisted of me going to the library, my room, the dining hall, classes, and that would be it. And like I was experiencing the cultural shock, but I just did not actually admit it. Again, Mayssa mentioned that if you have a problem, admit it. And then maintain contact with friends and family back home. I think this is a really good thing to keep you moving and to push you forward. You're gonna have to talk to your friends and family to just like still feel that you're still in touch with them. You have someone holding your back, someone to like always go back to, and to keep like the relationship and connections with your family. And whenever you're missing home, it's okay to do something that reminds you of home, like listening to an Arabic song, a Palestinian song, cooking some maqluba, some jaddara, whatever you want, talking Arabic. I like sometimes I'll be just like missing Arabic and like sick of English, and I have all of my American friends, and I'd just would start speaking in Arabic to them, and they just like know that like I'm missing home and I'm sick of English. Teacher friends, also the Palestinian songs. All of my friends sing "أنا دمي فلسطيني" every single car ride. And do not isolate. Do not isolate. Go out, be all and about, try to do things. It's okay to have your alone time, but just try to not actually stay in your room. And one final advice to new students: use all of the resources available. You can do it. I think it might be hard at the beginning, but do not give up. Keep trying. It's gonna be fine at the end. Thank you, guys.
تفضلي نور.
Hi everyone, my name is Noor. I'm currently a senior at the University of Oregon, so it's my 4th year. So I'm graduating this year in like a few months from now. And I'm double majoring in journalism and cinema studies and minoring in legal studies. So basically my classes are composed of law classes, cinema studies classes, documenting, journalism, a lot of writing. And thankfully I'm also part of the honors program at the University of Oregon. So University of Oregon is located in Eugene, Oregon. It's a very small town, but there are so many students, 24,000 students in the university. So it's huge. It's just very overwhelming, especially when I first arrived on campus. But like as time passes by, you get used to that. You just, like freshman year, sophomore year, I probably had 200 students in classes. But now that I'm a senior, it's my last year, I have like 40 students in classes. So it gets easier over time and less overwhelming. And you get to, make connections with your professors. It's just a matter of you putting yourself out there. A fun fact about my university is the founder of Nike, his name is Phil Knight. He was a U of O alumni who also actually went to the journalism school. So it's really a great networking opportunity. He's always at all the athletic events. So I got to talk to him. You get to introduce yourself and hopefully land yourself a job. So why did I choose the University of Oregon? For a starter, I was looking for universities that can offer me a scholarship. So it did offer me a full tuition scholarship. And it does have one of the best journalism programs in the nation. I think it ranks number 91, which is pretty good. And a lot of my faculty are graduates of like really good universities, at least in the SOJC. A lot of them work for BBC. A lot of them work for like, good programs in the nation. And that's something I obviously, care about. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about office hours, academic advisors, and just assignment grading and how things work while you're in the university. So for a starter, I want to stress how important it is for you to go to office hours and talk to your professors, even if you feel like you're on top of your class. And that was me, like I was the straight A student and I still am. And a lot of the time I didn't need academic help, and a lot of the time I didn't need it. But even if you didn't need it, still go introduce yourself, talk to them, let them know that you're in class, especially when there's 200 students in class. I would always go to my professors, introduce myself, be like, hey, I'm an international student. I love your subject. I was wondering, blah, blah, blah. And if you feel like you're a little introverted and you don't want to expose yourself, or like you feel vulnerable, what you can do is probably just send them an email, ask them questions, just show that you're willing to learn, show that you're there. And that's going to make a better connection between you and the professor moving forward if you need a recommendation letter. So that's why it's good to connect with your professors, thinking about it long term, right? And then something else that I found, it's a resource on campus, it's like basically in every university, to have academic advisors. When I go to my academic advising office, there's a lot of advisors who will pretty much have a degree plan ready for you. And for me, for someone who's doing 2 majors, I would have to go to 2 different departments and make sure that my degree plan, which basically lists all the classes that you're taking from freshman year up until your senior year, it will give you all the classes that you take and you get to choose that. Now, there are some classes that we call prerequisites. So those are the classes that are mandatory for all students to take, regardless of what you're specializing in. But then there are classes that you get to, it's like advanced classes, 400 level classes that you get to take, right? So there are so many informal events on campus, like career fair. If you're thinking about long-term, like trying to get a job, a great opportunity, it just serves as a great opportunity to secure a job. So you do in-person interviews. Like I think 3 weeks ago, we had a career fair and I pretty much just brought my CV and I brought my cover letter, and there was like a bunch of people, just a bunch of employers with their little booth. And I walked in circles, I introduced myself, I gave them my CV, I talked a little bit about myself. And then the next day they scheduled in-person interviews. So they really get to see you like being formal, talking about your life experiences and just sharing a conversation with the employer. And then next up, they're having more interviews coming up next week. So really like go to the career fair, any informal events that the university hosts. Like you need to be vulnerable. You need to introduce yourself. I can't stress it enough. It's all really about making connections. And also like at my university, because it's huge, we always have guest speakers or alumni that are, you know, succeeding now in their industry. They come to the University of Oregon, they share their experiences. And again, after the lecture, what I tend to do is I go up to them and introduce myself like, hey, I'm a Palestinian woman. I'm interested in what you're doing. Can you please elaborate on this point? Blah, blah, blah. Just share a conversation with them, regardless of the topic. Make sure that they know you're there, you're interested. And when it comes to selecting courses, make sure that you're not just going for the easy courses. Like I know a lot of my friends when I was choosing electives. So these are the classes that we call electives. So once you finish your prereq classes, which are mandatory classes for everyone, there are electives. So classes that you would have to take, just not necessarily in your major, anything that fulfills the requirements of your degree, right? So basically I didn't necessarily choose the easy ones. I was taking 300 level classes, 400 level classes because I needed the knowledge. I needed the advanced classes. Plus also being part of the honors program, you're kind of required to take advanced classes. But if you're not, I would really suggest doing that. So when it comes to grading and when it comes to like taking assignments in your classes, so for someone who's like an A student, some classes I'd get a B class, I would get a V in some classes and an A in another class. But how do I explain this? So basically, a lot of the grading scales vary. So it really depends on your course, and it depends on your instructor's grading style. So you might actually get an A and in one course, but in another course that could count as a B, which is not pleasant. So what I tend to do is before the term even starts, I basically just look at that syllabus that the professor lays out for us, and I make sure to look at the percentage for each assignment, so I know exactly where I need to put my focus in. And sometimes, even if you're not necessarily doing amazing in class, what I tend to do is ask for extra credit, even if it's not offered, even if it's not guaranteed. You can still email your professor. Since you now build up that connection with them, you can, go up to them and ask them for extra credit, and I'm sure they'll offer you if they see that you're a good student and you're willing to learn and you've been building up that connection with them. And again, like you have, if you have any questions, then email your professor early. Don't wait until the assignment is due and you're like, hey, professor, I need help, because no one's going to help you that day. So that's why I'm telling you, build up that connection, keep sending emails, make sure that they know your presence is like you're there. And I would say, like I said, take hard classes, don't take easy classes, unless if you really need to. If you have like 1 or 2 credits left to fulfill, I would probably take like PE classes. So by PE, I mean sports classes, but for the most part, I would aim for 4 credits. And again, if you're an honor student, you will take an advanced class, so have higher expectation and increased workload. What really helped me is to purchase a planner. I got like a planner freshman year, and every day I would write down, I would have a to-do list and write down things that I need to do every single day. So keep that in mind, it's very important. So when I was a freshman, I actually was like attending classes. I was doing, 2 majors and a minor and applying for an honors program, but I also wanted to work. I also wanted to make some money, right? So something really helped me. And one of the great resources that my professors advised me to check out is Handshake. Handshake application. Basically, you would just have to enter the name of your university and you would get all the jobs that are near the area or jobs abroad. You would have to filter it out. So that will help you kind of like narrow down your options. And that's something that really helped me out. At first, I was a research assistant at the law library. So I was helping law students there or grad students with research, a lot of stuff related to international law. You can also be, something else I did that was last year, I was a resource consultant at the Mills International Center, which is basically, a lot of international students go there, they need help. A lot of them are like, so it's their first year at the university and they come from different countries. And I was already knowledgeable on the country and the US, and like I've lived here for like 3 years. So by that time when I was a junior, so I really gave them so much advice and so much help based on my experience and directed them around campus. And then I got promoted. I was then an event coordinator. Whenever there was like an international, ceremony going on, I would be the one leading it. So again, that you don't really have to restrict yourself with working a lot of hours. I did 10 to 15 hours a week. It really depended on my schedule because it was a really busy schedule. Now that I'm a senior, things are like easier because I'm like graduating soon. And the payment ranges. So in Oregon, I know like you get around like $12 to like $15. In other places, in bigger cities, perhaps, not Eugene, because Eugene is like, again, tiny where I live. You can probably get up to like $17 per hour. And it depends on the job as well, right? Something else I want to talk about is study abroad opportunities. So in every university, they do have, I mean, in most universities, they have like study abroad opportunities, and departments, at least in the J school, offer, you know, various opportunities like going to Spain. And it's a lot of documenting people, interviewing them, creating stories. It's a lot of storytelling. So that's something I'm interested in. It's again, program specific. I didn't get the opportunity to like apply for one, but what I did is I sought another program not affiliated with the university. It's called the Oxford Consortium for Human Rights. Honestly, just do a Google research, see what's out there for you. And I saw this program. They offer full tuition scholar, or not a full tuition, I guess it's just they offer full scholarships. And I got to go. It was really competitive. You basically just talk to a lot of international students and local students. You get to go to Oxford campus and you discuss, you know, stuff you're interested in, like international law. Like my session at least was very focused on humanitarian aid and international law, and that's something I'm interested in. And I had to apply, I had to stand out in my application. So it's just a process of you not, you know, just being vulnerable, putting yourself out there and writing all the credible work that you've done throughout, you know, your college, your time here in the US. As for internships, something that at least in the SOJC, which is the School of Journalism and Communication at the University of Oregon, something that we're encouraged to do is only apply for paid positions. So basically, I would not apply for an internship that's not paid, because we believe that no labor should be for free, no exploitation. That's what my professors always used to tell us. So, I mean, at one point, I remember I applied for an unpaid position, and my professor was like, nope, it's a great opportunity. It's a great learning opportunity, but that's exploitation and we don't agree with that. So they did not let me apply for CPT. They were like, nope, we want you to go for a paid position. And it was convincing. Again, and then I applied for another position. I got CPT. CPT is basically the paper, so basically it's the papers that you have to fill out a form that would allow you to work in the US legally prior to graduation. And who helps you with that? The Office of International Students. I would go there, I'd be like, hey, I want to apply to work in the US. I'm trying to apply for an internship. Can you please like help me out? They would give you the CPT form, you would fill it out with their guidance, and then you would, indicate whether you want to apply for credits or not. But there could also be internships at your university. You don't have to go abroad to different states. So like you can ask your professor, go to the career center, give them or just attend cover letter workshops, CV workshops, connect with people. Everyone really has an opportunity for you. You just have to put yourself out there. So from my experience, I did an internship in Chicago. I was interviewing people, supporting our cause. I was documenting them. I was, creating documentaries. It was a really fun experience, and you get to work in the office and really just connect with so many people. And then I was also, through them, I got to know a lot of another organization in Washington. And it's basically like you get to write articles for an amazing newspaper, and you get to connect with a lot of, students learning journalism. So again, it's a learning opportunity. It's a networking opportunity. You have to put yourself out there, and opportunities are just going to come your way. If you've done your homework, if you've studied, if you work hard, all you need is to go to, apps like Handshake or Indeed.com and send emails to your professor, put in the extra effort, and you'll get somewhere. And something that I've been thinking about is that a lot of the internships that I applied for, they can really get you a full-time position. If you prove yourself while you're working for your employer, there's a high chance they might give you a full-time position. So they would actually start paying you salary like post-graduation. So it does really increase your chance of getting a job once you graduate. And that's something that I'm interested in. And we're all interested in that because you will make use of our OPT year. So OPT year is basically after you graduate, you get 1 year to study to work in the US, and you have to apply for OPT. And again, that's something you need to discuss with the International Student Office. They're going to help you out with that process. Personally, my experience was really easy. I filled out a form online, and they guided me through every step. I went to all the sessions that they had. They guide you step by step. So please do attend the sessions that the university has for you. And if you're not sure about how the process works, go to their office, talk to them personally. I did that. So yeah, again, it all comes down, to one thing, is making connection. And that will be my final piece of advice that I'm going to give all of you. Sometimes I know it's hard to be vulnerable and like to put yourself out there, but it's very important to talk to people, to expose yourself, to tell them all about your experiences and how much you're interested in what they're doing, because that can potentially land you a job in the future and you can get yourself places. And obviously it's also with your hard work and with your effort.
Great. Lots of great information again from our three special guests. Thank you so much, Huda, Mayssa, and Noor. And I concur with your tips and regarding putting yourself out there. Be open to this new experience, not only the academic experience, but also campus life and the challenges. You're moving from one country to another. The next 4 years of your life will be important years of learning and exploring and meeting new people. And so being open to that is really, I think, one of the main themes of your presentations today, and taking advantage of the opportunities that are available, not only for the academic aspect of the experience, but also campus life and joining clubs if you can, and meeting definitely new people, in addition to staying connected with your friends from your home country and meeting others. And so I think, Marwa, now we can open it to the questions from our audience, and definitely before we do that, I just want to ask all three of you if we can start with if you can just share one tip for those who will be traveling to the US this summer. What would that be?
I would say prepare ahead of time. Always do things not like last minute. Give things like 2 weeks ahead. Just prepare things and research or look at your university's website and look at the information that they have. They have many useful information for new students.
I would go ahead, Noor.
So what I was going to say is like something that really helped me, at least freshman year, because it was all overwhelming, especially having like 24,000 students on campus, a lot of people out there. You just feel like you're like a ghost, like no one really sees you. So what I would really suggest is having or keeping a daily planner. That really helped me a lot with keeping my to-do list, especially freshman year. Like, you're new to the US, there's a lot on your list. You want to apply for jobs, you're trying to attend classes and do well, you're trying to make sure that like how the syllabus works and like when the assignments are due, and at the same time you're trying to like socialize and make friends, and like your life is like your social life and your academic life, your professional life, it's all over the place, it's a mess. So you need something to keep that organized. And what I did is I bought this planner and I just wrote academic, professional life, applying for jobs, applying for like internships, and then on the other side of the page, academics. So this assignment is due that date, blah, blah. So that really helps you just keep your life organized. That's something that most people don't talk about, but I think it's basically time management and knowing exactly what you're supposed to do and keeping that planner with the dates attached next to them is just like priceless. You really need to do that.
Adding to what Noor and Mayssa said, I think be out there, go out, try to get involved in clubs, activities, anything. Also reach out to people. Like when I first came in, I know that there's a couple of Palestinian students, so I reached out to a lot of them, because like you would want to have like Arab or Palestinian friends that you could like do the regular shenanigans with them. Also, again, keep a planner, because it could get overwhelming really easily, especially like your freshman year. Because in the US, I feel like I'm just doing school all over again, because there's a lot of assignments, a lot of homework, a lot of quizzes, a lot of things, and go to the library every now and then. It's good to study in the library for a bit, I think. It gives you that vibe that you're like, oh, in a study mode. And it's okay if you don't find your friend group in your freshman year, you're eventually gonna find them, and probably the friends that you're gonna meet and the people that you're gonna meet the first day there are not gonna be your friends for like the entire 4 years. You're gonna meet a lot of people throughout your career and throughout your 4 years and journey. So it's okay to not find your group within, but like try to be out there, reach out to people, and be accepting of other people.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Huda, Noor, and Mayssa. So one of the questions that we received from our audience, someone is asking about, how to know about the types of activities and clubs available at the university, and how to join them.
Honestly, I would just say go to their website. Like they have literally, at least my university, everything lined out, all the clubs and activities. And if you're not sure, just give them a call. Like call the International Student Office, especially because they are, they would help you with everything you need. Just tell them like, hey, I'm interested to like apply for clubs. And if they don't even know the answer, they're going to direct you to the right place. They're probably going to tell you like, oh, you should give a call to the rec center. The rec center is like the sports center for us, and you give them a call and they're going to tell you all the times, of the activities and what they have going on. And if the rec center is not sure about something, they're going to direct you to another center. So again, it's like a networking opportunity. So you get to talk to so you start with the International Student Office, you start with their website, and if you're not sure, they're going to direct you to other addresses where they're going to give you the right information that you're looking for.
Adding to that, I think usually freshman year they do it, or like at least for my school, we do it every single semester. We have something called the activities fair, where every club have a representative out there, and they're sitting, they represent their club, they talk about it, and they have a sign-up sheet where you just like write your name and you're enrolled, and it's like really easy. All you have to do is like write your name and email, and you're just a part of a club.
Adding to what Huda and Noor said, for me, I learned about the two clubs, one from my professor, and the second one, they just sent us a list of clubs that you can enroll in and their emails, and you just sign up. It's really easy. And also, one of my friends told me about the other club, and I just went to their meeting and I started attending it. So it's such an easy process.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very important, for students to always check the university's website because it involves so many information and resources for the students who are interested in applying. We have another question from Abay. He's saying that he likes the University of Oregon and he's thinking of enrolling there, but he is asking about the cost and how much money he would need from the moment he arrives until he finds a job. I just want to first say that it depends on the university. So each university will mention on their website the total cost of attendance. And when we mention the total of cost of attendance, we mean, the tuition and fees, the personal expenses, transportation, room and board. So you need to know the total cost of attendance. And if you want to apply to any scholarships or financial aid opportunities, you also need to check the university's website and see if you can apply to these opportunities. So this will actually differ from one university to another. And, Noor also shared, her experience or the opportunities that she had, in terms of clubs or activities, and also CPT now that she will be doing as well. Would you like to add anything else, Noor?
Not really. I would just say that basically go on their website and make your own calculations and see your budget. And again, keep applying for scholarships, especially the University of Oregon. They do offer a lot of scholarships, and, apply. I would say for what I applied for as an international student, like from Palestine, they will probably take, like, if you are a good student, they'll probably take you. Apply for the ICSB scholarship. That's what I applied for. And they literally give you a full tuition scholarship, but you really have to stand out. You really have to prove to them that you're worth it. And throughout college, they support you a lot. So I can give you more details if you're interested about the scholarship, and I can send you their website and their contact information. But I'm not sure if the deadline is passed by now. You'll have to check.
Thank you, Noor. We also have a question, how did you choose your universities and how did you prepare yourself for the application requirements?
I think one of the main things that helped me throughout the application process is Sana and being a part of the CCC club. And I was also a part of the Hope Fund. And I think like there was one day where it wasn't even like a CCC meeting. I think I just like decided to come to Sana and I spent the entire day in the office. I like spent it from probably like 9 a.m. to like 6 p.m. just like working on my essays, working on my application. And Sana and Marwa were both there. They were like going in and out of the office, looking at like my essay, looking at my application. I think that was like really helpful. We had like a lot of sessions to go over essays. I probably reviewed my essay like 10 times, and they even like I think there were like volunteers who also read their essays. We had a lot of sessions, so definitely reach out to Sana and Marwa if you need any help throughout that. And as for the how do we choose the universities, I think I applied to about like 15 universities and I was like mainly looking for a full scholarship. So that's how like I mainly chose mine, but I also went for the scholars like the colleges I really wanted to go to.
Thank you, Huda. Noor or Mayssa, would you like to add anything?
Adding to what Huda said, honestly, the first thing I would say is EducationUSA. They offered me a lot of help. Attending the sessions that they had, that's how I knew how to research for colleges. And they sent and they talked about many websites that you can go to and filter what you want in a college or in a university. Also, through the Hope Fund program, they offered a lot of help too. And why I chose this college is because, as I said, it's a small college and they offered me a full scholarship too.
Adding to that, don't be afraid to be the annoying kid who always asks questions and like sends out emails. Because like back then, I remember I was the annoying kid. Fun fact, like 4 years ago, I was exactly in your position and I was attending a session where like a bunch of like, like University of Oregon graduates and like, just Palestinians studying at like different American universities. They were like sharing their experiences. And I remember sitting down and being like, oh my God, these people are so smart. They were able to go to full scholarship. No way I'd be in their position. No way. Like, I know like my GPA is good. Just like, I'm just worried and nervous. Like, this is not going to work out for me. I don't think I'm going to travel to the US. I'm just probably going to stay, like, don't like it. I can't stress enough how these thoughts are very destructive, because once you actually like realize your full potential and apply, especially if you have good grades, if you think you're smart enough, and if you have the capacity to like just putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, that's all that you really need. Just put yourself out there and see what the options are there for you. So what really helped me is, like Huda said, I was part of the CCC program, and it's basically like Sana and Marwa were really helpful. Both of them were always offering us sessions and advice, and I was always sending them emails, and I was always attending the exact same sessions that you guys are attending right now, and there's plenty of them, and they really help you narrow down your essays, and they really help you just with everything you need. So don't be afraid to like send them emails or ask them questions, because that's what I did, and look where I am right now, where Huda is and Mayssa.
A question from Rahaf. She is asking, is getting a scholarship at Harvard difficult? Again, you need to check the university's website in terms of the application requirements. Also, you need to check their website to see the scholarship opportunities. And at the same time, as Sana have mentioned, you need to begin early. The earlier that you begin in terms of preparing yourself, whether for the standardized exams like the TOEFL or the SAT, or writing your personal essay, like Huda said, she had different drafts, or completing the application, the Common App account, or asking for recommendation letters from your counselor or teachers. It really takes time, so you really need to prepare yourself ahead of time and have a plan, so you can have everything ready and be a strong applicant when the time comes in terms of actually submitting your applications to different US universities and colleges. Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing your experiences. And thank you, everyone who attended this session as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you.